Listen closely, because this is one of the hardest truths you'll ever accept. People don't change because you love them. They change because they choose to. You can pour your entire heart into someone. You can sacrifice, support, pray, hope, and wait. But if they don't want to change, your love will not be enough to transform them. How many nights have you stayed awake, convincing yourself that your love could fix them? That if you just held on a little longer, if you loved them a little harder, they would finally wake up and become the person you know they could be. This is the trap you fell into. You didn't fall in love with who they were. You fell in love with who they could be. You fell in love with their potential, their someday, the version of them you saw in your head that they never bothered to become. And they gave you glimpses, just enough to keep you holding on, just enough good days to make you doubt your own misery, but never, ever enough to create real, lasting change. They didn't change. They just paused their chaos long enough to keep you from leaving. And here's the part that hurts. You confused their chaos for passion. You confused their inconsistency for mystery. You confused their deep-seated wounds for a depth you could heal. But some people don't want peace. Peace is uncomfortable for them. They are so used to drama, mess, and emotional roller coasters that stability feels boring. They never wanted healing. They just wanted an audience for their pain. And because you were so focused on their potential, you took on a role you were never meant to play. You became their therapist, their caretaker, their problem solver, their emotional sponge. You carried their trauma as if it was your duty to fix it. And meanwhile, they just kept repeating the same self-destructive cycles. And why wouldn't they? You were there to clean up the mess every time. You weren't loving them. You were enabling them. You were rescuing them from the very consequences they needed to face in order to grow. And here is the truth that hits the hardest. You weren't just trying to save them. You were trying to save your investment. You thought that if they finally changed, then all the pain, all the nights you cried, all the sacrifices you made, it would finally be worth it. It would all make sense. But it's even deeper than that. The real reason you stayed, the real reason you felt responsible for saving them, you tied your self-worth to their healing. You believed, deep down, that if you could be the one to finally fix someone this broken, it would mean you were truly special. It would mean you were valuable. Your value became measured by how much pain you could tolerate. But you must hear this, loud and clear. Your value is not a prize to be won by fixing someone else's life. It is not your job to be someone's transformation. It is not your responsibility to be their miracle. Change is a door that only opens from the inside. You can knock, you can beg, you can tape a key to the outside, but you cannot open it for them. Choosing yourself is not betrayal, it's self-respect. You are allowed to walk away from someone who refuses to grow. You are allowed to stop setting yourself on fire to keep someone else warm. Because staying with someone who loves chaos will, eventually, turn your own life into one. One day you will meet someone who chooses growth, healing, and accountability for themselves. Someone who doesn't need you to save them, because they are too busy saving themselves. And when that day comes, you'll finally understand why it never worked with the person who stayed stuck. Because real love isn't about fixing someone. It's about two whole people growing together. If this message resonated with you, I want you to make a promise to yourself. Go to the comments and write, "I release what was never mine to fix." It's time to put that weight down. Thank you for watching.